Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mrs. G. Today we are going to be looking at the 2017 multiple choice social studies past paper. Let's get to it. Items 1 to 2 refers to the following family tree. So before we get to the questions, let us just understand the family tree first. So Peter Brown got married to Elsa Black here, and they had 4 children. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of their children, Ishmael and Emma, got married. Emma Brown, which would take his father's last name, got married to Nora Pink, and they had 3 children, Morris Brown, Leo Brown, and Giselle Brown. Emma also got married to Sidney Green, so the children would take the father's last name here, and her children are Lai and Trevor. So once we understand the family tree, we can move into the questions. So here are the questions. What relation is Morris Brown to Lai Green? So we have Morris Brown here, who is the son of Ishmael, and Lai Green over here, who is the daughter, I'm assuming, of Emma. So these two are sisters and brothers. So these two, their children, would be cousins. So for number 1, the answer for number 1 would have been letter B. Number 2, what relationship is Trevor Green to Peter Brown? So let's find Trevor Green. Trevor is here. Trevor Green is Emma's son, and Peter Brown is up here. So Peter Brown is Emma's dad, and Trevor is Emma's son. So that means Trevor would have been Peter Brown's grandson. So the answer for number 2 would have been letter B. Notice that the question said, what relation is Trevor Green to Peter Brown? So it's basically asking, Trevor Green is what to Peter Brown? So you can't write the answer as grandfather for that, because you're asking about Trevor's relationship. So it would have been grandson. For number 2, it is letter B. Number 3, Maxine Lewis lives with her unmarried mother and father. The relationship between her parents can best be described as. So the clue in this question is the fact that she lives with both parents, mother and father, and they are not married. So that means your answer for this one would have been common law. So for number 3, the number is letter C. Number 4, which of the following statements best describes a conjugal family? So we're seeing conjugal over here as well. Conjugal means that you are in a relationship by marriage. The relationship is as a result of marriage. So A, one or both, absent from home, no. It would have been letter C. Family relationship is developed through marriage. So for number 4, your answer is letter C. Number 5. Which of the following is not a typical feature of low-income families in the Caribbean? So low income means that you have a limited amount of money, and the thing that is in bold here is not a typical feature of low-income families. A, they are self-sufficient. Well, self-sufficient would mean that you are able to take care of your business. You're able to handle your finances at home, you're able to take care of your family, etc. So that is not necessarily synonymous with a low income family, but let's check the others. B, their homes lack educational facilities. C, they often have a large number of children. D, the children are often economic contributors to the household. So the answer for 5 would have been A, that they are usually self-sufficient, since it says not a typical feature. 6, the custom of parents selecting future husbands and wives for their children is most closely associated with our ancestors from India, China, Africa, or Europe. So we know that Africans do not necessarily choose the husbands or wives of their children. Majority of the times that would happen in an Indian heritage. So for number 6, it would have been letter A, that's India. Number 7, which of the following would most likely result from women working outside the home? So that means you would have the mother out of the home and they are working. 1, decline in family values. 2, improved standard of living, certainly. 3, higher self-esteem for women. Alright, so once the woman is out working, they would have a higher self-esteem, they can buy their own stuff, they can do what they want to. So 3 is definitely in. So if we were to use the process of elimination, we would already take letter A out and have B, C, and D left. If the woman is outside working, it means that you now have more money to utilize within the home, so your general standard of living is going to improve as well. So from elimination, you need to have 2 and 3 in your response. So that would have been letter C as well as letter D. So that means we have to look at number 1 as well, decline in family values. Oftentimes when the female or when the mother figure leaves the home to go and work, things may break down in the family. So you may have a decline in family values. It is not always the case, but you may have a decline in family values. So our answer for number 7 would have been letter D. For number 8, which of the following is least likely to be important to a man and woman who are planning to start a family? So you're planning to start a family, so you're planning to have children. Yes, you have to think about your health status. Social status, that is basically considering what your standing is in society. Not so much. You don't necessarily think about that when you are planning on having a child. So the question said least likely, but let's look at the others just the same. Financial status, yes, you're going to be considering if you do have enough funds to take care of this child that you're about to bring into the world. And D, you want to have a stable relationship where you are sure that the child is going to get the support that he or she needs. So for number 8, your answer is going to be letter B, which is social status, which is least likely to be important. Number 9. Which of the following is the least likely effect of drug abuse on family life by one or both parents? So the least likely effect of drug abuse on the family by the parents. So it's the parents that is using the drugs. And you are basically looking through this question to find the least likely effect that it will have on the family. Physical abuse of children, it's very possible if the parent is taking the drugs. Increased rivalry among siblings, not necessarily. If your parent is taking the drugs, usually the children stick closer to each other, they take care of each other. C, emotional tension among family members, certainly. And D, insufficient money for children's education. So the money for the education would more than likely be used on the drug that is being abused. So your answer for number 9 would have been letter B. Number 10. The type of care associated with elderly is described as geriatric, old folks, pediatric, or senescence. So senescence is a period. Pediatric is relating to children, like pediatrician. Old folks, no. And geriatric care is in relation to caring for the elderly persons. Number 11. Which of the following is not a way by which traditional customs are kept alive in the Caribbean? When you are doing your multiple choice questions, you need to pay specific attention to the words that are in bold or in all capital letters. So you have not here, most here, most here. You have to pay attention to those specific words as they basically give you hints on what the answer for the question needs to be. I already did a video on that explaining multiple choice tips and how you can ensure that you get the best mark, I will drop that in the top section for you, so you can pay specific attention to it, watch that video, and it will help you in your multiple choice exam. So for this one, which of the following is not a way by which traditional customs are kept alive in the Caribbean? A. Archives consisting of local oral history. B. Villages organizing folk festivals. C. Families practicing ancestral dances regularly. Or D. The government supporting senior homes. The support of senior homes does not necessarily mean that you are keeping the traditional customs alive, because the customs are not necessarily being practiced. So the answer for that, since it says not a way, it would have been letter D for number 11. Number 12. Which of the following types of households in the Caribbean is most closely associated with ancestors who came from India? So you have a sibling family, nuclear family, extended family, or a single parent family. Alright, a sibling family would look like an individual living with their sister or brother. A nuclear family, you have both parents and the children living together. Extended family means that you have the initial or the primary family unit, which would be the children and mother or father or both, and then additional persons, maybe grandma, aunt, uncle, etc. Single parent, that is one parent, either mother or father, that is living with the children. So for the one that is most closely associated with ancestors who came from India, if you look around the Caribbean, Indian families usually have more of an extended family type. So for number 12, your answer would have been letter C. Again, guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please ensure that you do so that you can get more videos on your social studies exam that is coming up. Ensure that you like the video as well and leave a comment. If there's something that you don't understand, you can ask a question and then we will clarify that for you. Number 13. Members of a formal group are more easily identified than those of an informal group because, formal groups, they have specific things that would assist you in identifying them. More than likely, formal groups would have been in uniform. For example, a school, that would have been more of a formal grouping. Formal groups have written rules. Yes, they do, but the question says are more easily identified. So even though they have written rules, they're not walking around with the rules on their backs for you to be sure. So the question says identified, so your answer would not have been A. B. Members display similar behavior. Yes, they do generally display similar behavior, but that would not be enough for you to identify them either. Members are likely to wear a uniform. Yes, they are. And once you see someone in that uniform, it would be easy for you to identify them as a member of that formal group. D. Formal groups serve their communities. So your answer for number 13 would have been letter C. Number 14. Ralph is the leader of his school's choir. He makes all group decisions without consulting his group members. What type of leader is Ralph? So you have democratic, participative, laissez-faire, as well as authoritarian. Democratic means that you are involving others in the process of your decision making. Participative, laissez-faire. Authoritarian, no. Authoritarian means that you are the sole authority. You are the one that would make all the decisions on your own. So that is what Ralph is representing at this point. So for number 14, your answer would have been letter D. Number 15. Which of the following are characteristics of a strong leader? A strong leader is A. Willing to make decisions. Yes. Always keeps a serious face. No. Always lenient with members. No. Allows members to make their own decisions. Not necessarily. So for 15, our answer would have been letter A. The strong leader is usually willing to make decisions. Number 16, which of the following is the best example of a compromise? So if you're thinking of a compromise, it means that both persons are basically meeting each other halfway. So they are making a decision that, all right, I will do that and you do that. Okay, if you do this, then I will go ahead and do that. Something relating to that. So you're coming to some form of an agreement. So A, workers arguing in a cafeteria line would not be a compromise. B, two students involved in a writing contest. C, a football team working together to win a match. D, a husband promising to clean the house while his wife does the cooking. So that is a compromise here. That is letter D for number 16. Number 17. The constitutions of Commonwealth Caribbean countries guarantee citizens freedom of conscience, expression, assembly, and movement. These freedoms are usually referred to as A. Citizenship, B. Civic duties, C. Human rights, or D. Independence. So these are your basic human rights. Your ability to have freedom of conscience, express yourself, move about, and to assembly in areas. So for number 17, your answer would have been letter C. Number 18. Samuel broke one of the school rules. He was given 250 lines to write. The above is an example of, so basically Samuel is being punished because of something that he did. It is a sanction for whatever rule he actually broke. So the options are A, right, B, norm, C, ritual, and D, sanction. So your answer for number 18 would have been letter D, which is sanction. Number 19. In which of the following countries is proportional representation practiced? A, Guyana, B, Jamaica, C, Barbados, and D, St. Vincent. So our answer for number 19 would have been Guyana. Number 20. The plan proposed by political parties for managing a country is published in a document called a pamphlet, manifesto, magazine, or constitution. So you would probably hear the politicians speaking of the manifesto, which is basically the plan that they have in order to move the country forward, etc. So for number 20, your answer would have been letter B. Number 21. A political campaign is a method used by political parties to, so political campaigns, what it would look like in your mind or probably in real life is that you would see political parties and their representatives going around into different communities, talking to them, etc. So the aim of all of that is to encourage persons to vote for them. So look at the options. A, give voice to the people, give donations to the needy, encourage persons to vote, or D, get funding from the public. So for 21, your answer would have been letter C, which is to encourage persons to vote. Number 22, Caribbean countries where the Queen of England is the head of state may be described as monarchies. So the options are A, republics, B, monarchies, C, democracies, and D, dictatorships. So your answer would have been B for monarchies. 23. Which of the following is not normally dealt with by family courts in the Caribbean? A, divorce, B, child custody. So the divorce would have been a family issue. B, child custody, it's another family issue. C, probate of wills. Sometimes it can be a family issue. It can be that the will is left by a family member for someone else in the family. At other times it is not. Property is considered an estate. So property relating issues would not be in the family court. And D, alimony payments, that is the payment that you're going to be receiving after you have divorced. So your answer for number 23 would have been letter C. 24. The main function of a prosecutor in the judicial system is to A, issue a summons to a witness, B, provide counsel for the defendant, C, present arguments against the defendant, D, determine the verdict at the end of the trial. So the prosecutor is the person who is presenting the arguments against the defendant. That is the person who is speaking up to say why it is that you need to be put in jail. So your answer for number 24 would have been letter C. Number 25. Which of the following are items of expenditure for a government? So expenditure is money that you are actually spending. So it kind of sounds like the word expenditure, money that you're spending. So salaries for civil servants, yes, the government would have been spending that money because they have to give it to someone else. 2, old age pensions, they also have to spend that money, they have to give it to the people. And 3, custom duties. They're not giving anything for custom duties, they're actually receiving payment from persons who are bringing in items into the country. So the only expenditure in this option, in this question, would have been 1 and 2. So your answer for number 25 would have been letter A. Number 26. Which of the following statements best describes the functions of a government which follows the Westminster Model? A. It rules the nation entirely by decree. B. It makes laws, interprets them, and enforces them. Those are the 3 sections. C. It makes laws but cannot interpret or enforce them. And D. It makes laws, interpret them, but cannot enforce them. So the Westminster Model, the one that best describes it, for 26, your answer would have been letter B. So it makes laws, interprets them, and it also enforces them. Number 27. Which of the following are non-taxable sources of government revenue? That is, things that you cannot put any tax on. A. Export earnings. B. Patents and license. C. Grants from donor agencies. D. Earnings on goods and services. So you cannot put any tax at all. There can be no taxing on things that are given as donations. So grants from donor agencies. For number 27, your answer would have been letter C. Number 28. A country's constitution may be changed by A. A referendum, B. National elections, C. National registration, or D. Local government elections. So local government election is out. That is when you are voting for the persons to represent your specific area. National registration is not it either. National elections, that is when you are basically choosing a president or a prime minister for your country. And referendum is exactly what is needed for the constitution if any changes to occur. So for number 28, your answer would have been letter A. Number 29. Which of the following is not included in the written constitution of a country? A. Method of taxation, meaning how they can tax the people in their country. B. Responsibilities of the citizens. C. Powers and functions of officers of the state. D. Powers and responsibilities of Parliament. So the only one that is not written in the constitution of a country is the method of taxation that they can use. So for number 29, your answer is letter A. Number 30. Which of the following actions best demonstrates patriotism? A. Working at full capacity. B. Well, patriotism is basically showing a love for your country. Participating in your country, showing that you have interest in your country. B. Beautifying the surroundings. C. Participating in national events. Or D. Wearing colors of the ruling party. So your answer for number 30 to show patriotism would have been C, which is participating in national events. Alright, we're going to stop here for now. If you would like to see more videos like this explaining the social studies paper 1, past papers, please leave a comment in the comment section below so that we can know if we should go ahead with more videos for you. Ensure that you like the video and you must subscribe to the channel so that we can continue doing more videos like this for you. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and ensure that you like, subscribe, comment, as well as share it with your other social studies friends.